Coming up today on How to Fix Shit 101, how to change your radiator and how to make these cool brackets for your electronic radiator fan. Hey everybody, this is Tool Dude Tony. The radiator in my old Suzuki Sidekick finally bit the bullet this last week, and it's time to replace it. So went out to autowarehouse.com, bought me a nice solid metal radiator, and I'm going to show you how to put this thing in today. Also, we're going to build these cool aluminum brackets to hold the fan in, so it won't be poking holes through the radiator again and causing more leaks down the road. So let's get started. Let's disconnect the negative terminal on the battery before we get started. First thing I'm going to do is drain the antifreeze from this thing. I've got a pan to catch it in. Don't want it running down your driveway. I think that's illegal, but it's also not cool. I really suggest you wear some sort of protective gloves, man. You don't want to get that antifreeze on you. Okay, this is what you're looking for. Sticking out on the back of the radiator about a halfway across. Look for that. Unscrew it. Let it drain. Okay, while it's draining, it's time to take some of these parts out of here. Take your radiator cap off. Okay, we're going to disconnect this overflow tube. Loosen the bolts that are holding this whole thing in. I'm going to take out these bolts that are holding the radiator itself in. Okay, now this whole bracket and stuff should come loose here. Okay, that radiator's loose now on that side. Do the same thing on the other side. Okay, we'll disconnect the hoses. Here's the upper hose. Disconnect that. Remove the lower hose. Okay, we're going to save all these clamps and hoses and reuse them. With everything disconnected, we should be able to push this air conditioning pipe back just a little bit and lift this whole thing out of here. Yep, there we go. Here's a problem with this radiator. When I attached this cooling fan to it several years ago, I used these connections that went actually through the core of the radiator itself. So we're going to take these off. We're going to make a new bracket for this fan that will connect to this new radiator without poking holes in the radiator itself. So here's the electric fan. It attaches on these 4 points. I have these two 1-inch strips of aluminum that I'm going to use for brackets on this thing. I've already marked the middle of the metal. These are about 30 inches long. I've marked it in the middle here at 15 inches. And I went ahead and marked where the holes go. Okay, I'm going to drill some holes in the middle of these brackets. And run a bolt up through the bracket, through the aluminum. Put a nut on here for now. Okay. Same thing here. Putting a washer, since this is going through plastic. Come up through the plastic, in through the bracket. Tighten it down a little bit. Finger tight's all we need right here. Now, the sides of this radiator have a pretty good flange right here that's metal, thick metal, that's not actually part of the radiator. You can even see there's a hole right here that they put in it for some sort of mounting bracket. We're going to tap into this side and make some holes in this thing. So let's do this one together. I want to bend it up. See how that made a nice bow then down to it? So now it's nice and flat. So I'm going to cut it off right there with that line. Yeah, I've got this Chicago Electric shear to cut the ends off. I'll use this welder's clamp to clamp this in place. It's not going to move on me. Let's go ahead and drill it. the washer, lock washer, and then the nut. Do the same on the other one here. Now that one side is done, we can go ahead and do the same thing on this side. First I'm going to bend this down so we got a nice angle going here. Same thing over here. Okay, I'm going to mark about where I think this thing should go flat, and I think it's right about here on this one, and right about here on this one. So let's have this go flat. Okay, not bad. Okay, not bad. Okay, we're good. Make sure it's going to hold tightly. Let's go ahead and mark this. Mark it for the hole. Mark this one. Hold it tight. So we got a little tension on there. Mark the hole. Mark where I'm going to cut it off. Cut it off and drill the holes like we did on the other side. Put a small piece of foam, kind of a rigid foam, between your fan where these brackets come down and the radiator itself. Okay, I took this side off before I drilled the holes and cut that off over there so it has some room to work. This will be the last time I put this together, so I'm going to go ahead and put a little thread lock on here. Okay, now that you have your sides completely tightened up, go back to these bolts that we just finger tightened earlier. Let's take them off. Put a little liquid Loctite on them. Tighten it back up, and we're going to call it good. Oh, we also need these little rubber stops off of here. Let's go ahead and get those off now. Transfer those over to the new radiator. Just slide this back down in there. The goal is to get these bumps right back into the holes where they were before. Watch out for your wiring and all this other happy stuff as you drop this thing in here. Okay, there we go. Okay, watch out for your bracket here. Go slow when you do this. Okay, after you get these bracket bolts connected securely, your radiator is pretty much in place right now. Now we just need to hook up the rest of the stuff to it. Okay, now reattach the hoses. Slip that back on. Reconnect the overflow tube. Fill it up with some 50-50 mix antifreeze. Get some good stuff. Once the radiator seems full, go ahead and leave the funnel in it with some antifreeze still in that funnel, and let's run the car. We want to burp the air bubbles out of it. Turn your heater on high. While it's heating up, keep your eye on the level of fluid in the funnel. Make sure that it stays up at least just above the neck. So keep putting antifreeze in the funnel until it stops. Watch for the bubbles to come up. Once the bubbles stop bubbling, go ahead and put your radiator cap on it and call it good. While you're doing this, check for leaks. Make sure nothing's leaking underneath. That'd be bad. Well, and that's that. I replaced the radiator. I put a new bracket on there to hold the electric fan in place. Checked it for leaks. Got it filled back up. Everything is cool at this point. This car is back on the road. Well, hey, this is Tool Dude Tony. I'd like to thank you for watching this episode of How to Fix Shit 101. Hope you got something out of it. I got my car fixed, so I'm happy. Hey, if you like it, maybe press that like button and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Hey, it's free. Why not? You know, as I always say, if you're not fixing it yourself, you're paying somebody else to fix it, so get out there and fix something. I just saved $500 fixing this thing myself. Well, I probably saved about 300. Hey, so I'm out of here, man. Thanks. Take care. Tool Dude, out of here.